You are listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.
Welcome to the White Wall Sessions Radio. I'm your host, Dan Schaefer. On tonight's show, The Common Ground Company, Jeff Thomson, and Gaelynn Lea. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter by searching The White Wall Sessions. We are now accepting submissions for Season 8. To apply, visit whitewallsessions.com/appear. The White Wall Sessions would like to thank these fine sponsors for their support. Last Stop CD Shop, Bell Incorporated, Workplace IT Management, Ben's Brewing Company, Screenflare, J. Rick Music, The Pink Moon Room, Minuteman Press, and South Dakota Friends of Traditional Music. The Common Ground Company is a highly talented group of bluegrass players from Minneapolis, Minnesota. They combine solid songwriting and great vocals with a lively performance that keeps the toes tapping. The Common Ground Company is Steph Snow, ukulele and vocals, Jordan Watkins, guitar and vocals, Peter Whiteman, bass and vocals, Zach Tower, banjo, Jake Rohde, mandolin and vocals, and John Dvorak, dobro.
and to go on that old road home, on that old road home, on that
We're here with the Common Ground Company at the White Wall Sessions. Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
Howdy.
Hey.
Great to be here.
This is a great band from Minneapolis, Minnesota. But we do have some South Dakota people in here.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jorgen, can you first introduce the band for us?
Yeah, we are the Common Ground Company. My name is Jorgen Watkins. I play guitar. We got Johnny Hot Hands over here playing dobro, doing some vocals. This is the lovely Steph Snow singing and playing the ukulele. We got Mr. Peter Whiteman slapping the bass. Zach Tower, he plays the banjo. And last, and definitely not least, the star of the show, Mr. Jake Rohde on mandolin.
And some people call it a tennis racket. But
Yeah, I've been mistaken once or twice.
mandolin, maybe more of a boidolin. I'll take it though.
So, Jorgen, you were originally from Yankton, South Dakota.
Yep, I grew up in Yankton.
There you go. And Steph, you were originally from Pierre.
Yep, I grew up in Pierre.
And for the people on the podcast, this goes out all over the world, actually. It is Pierre. I know it looks like Pierre.
Oh, let's get started on that.
I was going to ask earlier when you guys were saying it. I'm like, you're saying it wrong.
It is not Pierre.
Okay,
It is
now I know.
absolutely Pierre.
Yes.
Okay,
I
now I
actually
know.
had a soccer team when I was growing up called Peer Pressure.
Oh, there you
Wah,
go. A
wah,
lot of
wah.
people say we're Pierre. So that,
Yeah, we're Peer. Yeah, that's a good one.
I
Yeah,
know that team.
Peer Pressure.
Pierre Pressure, right?
Oh, Pete.
So
Yeah,
how
so-
long has
Put up
this
your-
band been together? When did it start?
Well, Steph and I met in Watertown, actually,
Yeah.
a number of years ago. And then we moved in together in Aberdeen and started playing music just in little local bars for fun. 'Cause
Anybody ever been to Slackers in Aberdeen? Slackers is fantastic.
They were one of the first little craft beer places in South Dakota, I feel like. And so Lamar would be like, hey, you guys can play music. We'll give you beer. And we're both like, we like beer and we like music. So we'll come down.
It was an easy
and-
sell.
Yeah. And
Well, that was the first time I'd ever played music in front of people. I played marching band growing up and piano, but I'd never done like my own music in front of people. So for Lamar to give us that kind of opportunity to play in front of people, no expectations, just to let us do it was pretty cool. It meant a lot.
So it was just the two of you then?
Yeah.
And did you start right away playing your own music, or did you play
pretty
covers? and
close
kind of a
to right
blend?
away.
Yeah.
I've been writing songs. I think it came out of Steph got tired of fighting for time against the guitar. And so she's like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And so she got behind the keyboard and we started playing and singing together and started doing originals. We used to have a group called Sfumato and it's spelled just like it sounds.
Is that an acronym? I've always wanted to ask
It's
you that.
really tough. I'm not going to get into
Okay,
the details of that, but
It's a word. It means like
Smoky.
Yeah,
smoky
to go up
flavor. or something.
smoky. Yeah, to go up in smoke is what it means. But that was really tough.
So
we
that's-
decided to call it the Common Ground Company.
That's what they were into back when they met. Going up in smoke. Yeah.
So the Common Ground Company started as you two.
Yes.
Yes.
And then when did you add in this amazing lineup?
Well, Steph got a wonderful teaching job in Minneapolis.
Yeah. We moved to Minneapolis about 5 years ago. And we moved to a neighborhood called Como. And we started meeting people there, liking the same kind of music as us, bluegrass, Americana, string music in general. And Jake over there in the Stripes, he lives about a block from me and Jorgen.
It's really convenient for band practice. I'm
This
totally cool
coming
with
from the
that.
mandolin player. I mean, he's the guy that said, "Hey, let's go. Everyone ready? Come on!" Oh, he's
Yeah.
over here.
all he's got
Smallest
is-
instrument.
And Pete has to haul a bass halfway
out there on
across
the
the
corner.
Hurry
state.
up, everybody! At least you don't have a drummer dragging you down.
No.
That's true. That's
You
very
guys,
true.
I was trying to think, has it been 3 years or 2 years? Has it been
It's
almost
been
3
at
years or
least
2
3.
years?
Two and a half.
Two and
maybe.
a. We should have
Almost
a 3-year
three.
anniversary party.
Rachel left the band 2 years ago.
Okay.
So it would be like 3.
Three.
Almost
more.
3
So
years.
this lineup, less Johnny,
Less Johnny. Yeah.
Sweet Johnny.
and then Johnny. Well, we know Johnny. He's been here with.
I hang out. I come hang out. You know, yeah, I love it here.
2, I think.
Yep, I
And
believe so.
then you did. You filled in with Good Morning Bedlam.
Yep.
When they were here doing the Pink Moon.
Oh yeah. I
And
make the rounds.
Give a shout out to Pete, who was here with the Gentlemen's Anti-Temperance League.
That's right.
So we've got some veterans. You knew what was
Oh
going
yeah.
on.
Yeah. I always jump at the chance to come back here. Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah.
Good. Well, we're glad you do. You keep bringing great bands with you.
Wait till I bring the next one.
So this is a bluegrass band, but it's almost bluegrass with jazz and kind of blues going on. There's bluegrass with no limits. Probably.
Yeah, we draw a lot of influence from like the jam grass community, kind of building off of like what New Grass Revival did back in the 80s. Kind of taking this acoustic instrument situation and applying it in a variety of ways.
In springtime, we planted seeds. We hope that they grow. We gave our water to the weeds. We reaped what we didn't sow. You were my bird of choice, always hoping to soar. Flew so high and I lost my voice. Don't need you anymore. Please forget about me, darling. All the things we've been through. When the springtime is coming, you ain't gonna keep me blue. The storm hit and you threw me o'er. Ship sank to the floor. That's too bad, babe. Your time is over. Don't need you anymore. Please forget about me, darling. All the things we've been through. When that springtime is coming, you ain't gonna keep me blue. Learned to swim and how to love. Found my wild world there. We flew so high and I floated above. Blue rider that we are. Please forget about me, darling. All the things we've been through. When the springtime is coming, you ain't gonna keep me blue. You ain't gonna keep me blue. You ain't gonna keep me blue.
Coming up after the break, Jeff Thomson.
You are listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.
Hi, I'm Ben Hanton, founder of Ben's Brewing Company. At Ben's, we've always appreciated the finer things in life, like great friends, great music, and great beer. Ben's Brewing Company is proud to announce our White Wall Session Ale. This light pale ale is sourced from the finest local ingredients and pairs exceptionally well with great friends and great music.
Enjoy responsibly. Ben's Brewing Company, Yankton, South Dakota.
Good people drink Ben's beer.
You are listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.
Jeff Thomson is a singer-songwriter from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. An accomplished writer and guitar player, he has played with several original bands going back to the 1970s. Jeff has a lot of stories of playing on the road over the years and recording several albums. As a solo artist, Jeff combines his many musical influences and life experiences into songs that take the listener on a journey.
Walking through the shadows of a halfway decent day, I told myself it couldn't last. A gum wrapper, sidewalk crackle, bricks are closing in. Blur of traffic moving fast. London daydream too real upon my soul it burns. A candle in an English rain. Stoic faces frown behind their papers never read. Heart screaming on this quiet train. Graffiti walls and one-car stalls, no grass to take up space. A people proud of what they've got. Centuries old, the tales they've told, a history spun with grace. A time it feels this restless lot. London daydream too real upon my soul it burns. A candle in an English rain. Stoic faces from behind their papers never read. Hearts screaming on this quiet train. A storm had passed, no lightning flashed, is thunder ever heard? Stateside TV rules the day. Beans with eggs, room service trays, a smile at the desk. Underground, we're on our way. London daydream too real upon my soul it burns. A candle in an English rain. Stoic faces frown behind the papers never read. Hearts screaming on this quiet train. Hearts screaming on this quiet train. Thank you. Thank you.
We're here at the White Wall Sessions with Jeff Thomson. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, thank you.
So when the White Wall Sessions first started in season 1, back in the old studio, two old studios ago, we started with Steve Zastrow, but you were one of the first.
Yeah, I think I was number 2.
Were you the second
list,
one?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a long legacy with White Wall Sessions.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I've been keeping track ever since, so it's been nice.
Good. Yeah, that was in the old studio, and of course you couldn't turn the air conditioning on, and it was really hot.
Yeah, I've seen some of the old film, and yeah,
sweat dropping down your nose.
Yeah, looked like a prize fighter. Yeah.
So you've been around music for a long time, Jeff.
Yep.
Z-Brick is kind of the thing that a lot of people associate you with, which was a band in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, well, we never made it to the 80s. 75 is when we were doing a lot of the playing, 75, 76, 77. And by early 78, that's when we broke up. Okay. Yeah.
And then, so one of the things I remember distinctly about Zeebrick is that it was an original band.
Yeah.
In sort of a land of cover bands.
Yeah.
Was that intentional? I mean, did you just, a lot of original guys say, well, we try to play covers, but we just found it's easier to write our own. How did you come to originals versus covers?
Well, really, a lot of the cover bands, they start out imitating bands that they enjoy, And we did the same thing, but we imitated them by writing our own songs. Because we look at our heroes at that time, Led Zeppelin, there would have been Humble Pie, the Stones, things like that. And we looked at them, and for the most part, they're playing their own songs. And we said, well, that's how you do it. So for better or worse, we started writing our own.
So, but definitely, but your peers weren't writing their own, right? So what is it that made you think we can do this? And was that a steep hill to climb?
It's definitely a state of mind. I think we just enjoyed that aspect of things. And it wasn't really saying we want to do this in spite of what everyone else is doing. It was just something we all felt natural doing. And so it was pretty organic, for lack of a better word. It was just something that came about. That's how we did it.
Was it hard to get gigs as an original band?
Sometimes, yeah. And I think, as people know me, I think that's where some of the chip on my shoulder over the years came, as far as the original music versus cover bands. It was harder. And a lot of times you got judged by just saying you were an original band. They didn't even have to hear, what you played or how you did at such and such bar or whatever. They just heard original. And it was something no one else was doing, so they were afraid. And it is a money business. The people don't want to stick up money unless they're guaranteed money back. They knew what was selling, the same 40 songs that you hear today, if you go out to a bar. And back then, we were sort of strange for them, and they didn't want to take a chance. But we were persistent. We built up a small to medium-sized but very vocal following, and we got ourselves some good gigs.
Did you have like cassettes or anything you were passing out at gigs or selling?
We did 145. We went out to Rapid City. There again, why isn't Zeebrick famous? We went out to Rapid City to record this. I have no reason why we did that. But we went out there and we recorded a 45. It was called Stay the Night, and it was fun. It got in a few jukeboxes, at the time, but it didn't sound anything like the band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it didn't sound a thing like the band. I listen to it now, and I just have to smile because I remember the times. But, yeah, it didn't sound like Zeebrick.
Well, not many guys can say they have a 45 in their collection that they recorded.
Yeah, true. I have 1,000 of them, so. Yeah.
Worked for the company most of his life, supporting a family. He raised an ex-wife, kept up with the changes just as fast as he could, till it came about he was forced out like he knew they would. Now he's 60 with nowhere to go. Knows way too much, it moves way too slow, and he's 60 with nowhere to go. Where rivers run, God only knows when you're 60 with nowhere to go. Well, he brought up 3 fine daughters from a distance, you might say. All 3 have gotten married long since and moved away. Friends are few and seldom, some as close as a phone. Old photos bring back memories of emotions never shown. Now he's 60 with nowhere to go. Knows way too much, but he moves way too slow. And he's 60 with nowhere to go. Where rivers run, God only knows. When you're 60, we'll know where to go. Now he's 60 with nowhere to go. Knows way too much, but he moves way too slow. And he's 60 with nowhere to go. Where rivers run, God only knows. You're 60 with nowhere to go. Now I'm paying for mistakes I didn't make. I took chances, they were mine to take. Like a ship I'm drifting, oh, and it's a home port revenge. My hands are shaking, will I survive? My heart's racing, someone's gonna die. 2 ships are drifting, oh, and it's a home port revenge. And I'll make it. And I'll fake it. Flashbones crack, I feel myself go down. I step back and I squeeze the final round. 2 souls are drifting, oh, and it's a home port revenge. Two souls are drifting, and it's a home port revenge.
Coming up after the break, Gaelynn Lea.
You are listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.
Hi, I'm Ben Hanton, founder of Ben's Brewing Company. At Ben's, we've always appreciated the finer things in life, like great friends, great music, and great beer. Ben's Brewing Company is proud to announce our White Wall Session Ale. This light pale ale is sourced from the finest local ingredients and pairs exceptionally well with great friends and great music.
Enjoy responsibly. Ben's Brewing Company, Yankton, South Dakota.
Good people drink Ben's beer.
You are listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.
Gaelynn Lea is a classically trained violinist and songwriter from Duluth, Minnesota. Confined to a wheelchair, her first teacher helped her to adapt a style of playing that could be used with her frame. In 2016, Gaelynn won NPR's Tiny Desk Contest, and her life has taken an amazing trajectory. She is also a public speaker and advocate for people with physical disabilities.
Pushing up through the dirt just like a seed, but you're never quite a flower. You feel more just like a weed, driving through. You wanna know where you are going, but the windshield's always dirty, and you never get to see what makes you think that you'll ever get there. What makes you think you deserve to know? Who are you really? Are you so important? Take a look around and watch the world unfold. Watch the world unfold. Watch the world unfold. Watch the world unfold. Need advice, you have no clue what you're doing. Moral compass it is spinning, an identity unhinged. Where to turn, there's so many opinions, and they're all a little different, and the outlook's getting dim. What makes you think that you'll ever get there? What makes you think you deserve to know? Who are you really? Are you so important? Take a look around and watch the world unfold. Watch the world unfold. Watch the world unfold. Watch the world unfold. stalk through the dirt just like a seed, but you're never quite a flower. You feel more just like a weed. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
We're here at the White Wall Sessions with Gaelynn Lea from Duluth, Minnesota. Welcome, Gaelynn.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We are so happy to see you. So let's start with your music, first of all. When did you start playing and singing?
I started playing violin when I was 10 years old. In fourth grade, an orchestra came to my school, and I just really liked the way it sounded, and I was like, oh, I want to do that next year. And so in fifth grade, I decided to sign up for orchestra, and luckily there was a teacher who was willing to help me figure out a different way to play, because obviously my arms and legs are shorter because of my disability.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't hold the violin the regular way, but I ended up figuring out with her help that I could play it like a cello, and I could hold my bow like a bass player. And because she had all that knowledge from teaching all the instruments, that's kind of what we did. And then once we figured that out, it was basically just like learning any instrument. You're very bad for a couple of years, and then it gets better as you go. And then singing came a lot later. So I was probably 22 the first time I sang in a band, but it was like backup vocals and harmony. And then when I met Alan Sparhawk, when we started playing together, he's in the band Low, who's also from Duluth. He gave me a looping pedal, and he's like, you should experiment with this. And then pretty shortly after that, I wrote my first song, and that's when I started singing my own music. I had done lots and lots of harmony before that, but not a lot of lead stuff. So that's when I started writing.
Sure. So you mentioned Alan Sparhawk from Duluth, the
Yep.
fellow. And you also mentioned Charlie Parr tonight. So I'm thinking of that whole Duluth scene. Tell me about that and how there's such a great bunch of musicians coming out of Duluth. We've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, I've been actually, yes.
And they seem to really help each other and support each other.
Yeah, it's a really special, that's probably my favorite part about Duluth, besides Lake Superior maybe, which is also pretty amazing. But the music scene, it's pretty huge, like for a town of 90,000 people or so. There's a festival every May called Homegrown Music Fest, and there's 200 bands, and you have to be local to play in it. So like some people come up from Minneapolis because they grew up in Duluth, but it really is like there's just a lot of music. There's a lot of cross-pollination, like people start projects and then kind of morph into other things. The way I met Alan was kind of funny because I was in another band at the time called Snow Barn, and we played at the same fundraiser as Charlie Parr, and I was kind of a fangirl of Charlie Parr. I would go see him all the time, and I remember my very first band, like way back in the day, I like gave him our album, like one of those things, where you're like, I love your music, here's my album. It was Charlie Parr. And so at this fundraiser, my friends were like, go up and ask him if he wants a fiddle. And I had like one beer, so I did it. I asked him, and he was like, sure, come up after the intermission. So I played with him for a little bit. And then a week later, I knew he was going to be at a farmer's market, but I didn't want to be that girl like again, right? So I debated, and I finally decided I would bring my violin and bury it under a pile of jackets so that he wouldn't see. And if he happened to ask me, I would play, right?
Oh, nice.
And he actually did. He's like, do you have your fiddle with you? And I was like, I do, actually. Conveniently located under this pile of jackets. And that's the day that Alan Sparhawk happened to be there. Oh. I didn't know who he was. I really hadn't listened to Low at all. When I met him, I was really more of a Charlie Parr fan or whatever. And Alan happened to be there, and like 3 weeks later, he text messaged me out of nowhere. He's like, I want to do a film score, like a live film score with you. And I was like, oh, sweet. Wow. So if I hadn't brought, like really, it's so weird. If I hadn't brought my fiddle that day, I never would have met Alan, and I wouldn't have started looping and probably songwriting. I mean, a lot of things changed. So the Duluth music scene does have all these weird little webs. And I feel like there's probably similar stories with other people because there's so much, people really get in there and like explore. a lie. I'll never know which way was right. Now side by side we face the night, and I love you. And I love you. We walked the pier and back again. It was the most scared I've ever been. You held my hand until the end, and I love you. And I love you. Don't tell me we've got time. The subtle seesaw of life, it slips away when we pay no mind. We pulled the weeds out till the dawn, nearly too tired to carry on. Someday we'll linger in the sun, and I love you. And I love you. And I love you. And I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
The White Wall Sessions is recorded at Last Stop Studios in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and is produced by Spectrum Films Incorporated. Executive producers are Jeff Zuger, Doug Taylor, Greggy Johnson, and Jay Fishback. Head of broadcast is Dave Palmer. Associate producer is Mike Yeager. The White Wall Sessions Radio is produced and edited by Jeff Zuger. Audio recording and mixing by Carl Koiser, Kevin Phipps, and Dave Palmer. Scheduling and artist relations, Tom Eisner. I'm your host, Dan Schaefer. Join us next week, same time, same station.
You are listening to the White Wall Sessions Radio.